But before we get to DHCP, we have one more configuration to do here on our NPS server, and that's to configure the connection request policy. Now, one of the things I'm going to do here too, also, just as before, is to disable the existing policies, just so we have a clean workspace to work with here for our DHCP example. The other thing I want to show you is that for this machine NPS1, I've also gone through and installed DHCP onto this computer. You can actually run DHCP on a different server, but it involves setting up a Radius proxy, this machine here being a Radius proxy, with the DHCP server being a Radius client. So all I'm going to do here is just prove to you that indeed this machine is a DHCP server because it consolidates all of our work here onto this one machine. Flipping back over here to our connection request policy, I tell you this because in order to create that connection request policy, we need to set it up in this case as a DHCP server network access server. So we'll be using all the services again on this machine. Let's set this up as our DHCP connection request policy here. And then we've got to go through some similar configurations like what we did back in those earlier modules when we were just setting things up for that VPN connection. However, what's different here is that the condition we're looking for is, in this case, where an identity type is associated with the machine health check that those computers will be using whenever they're asking for their DHCP addresses. So I'll hit OK here and choose Next. For that, we'll want to authenticate the requests on this machine, so on this NPS server. Choose Next again. We don't need to override any network policy authentication settings because we configured them over here in our network policy. We're just doing the machine check here. We're not doing any further authentication. No further configurations or settings over here as well. So this sets up the final of the 3 steps that we need in order to get our NPS server here prepared for working with our DHCP server.